Trimless doors and flush base, not easy to achieve. On today's video, I'm going to give you the behind the scenes how-to. We're talking today about modern trim details, and I'm coming to you today from a baldridgeARCHITECTS house. Super modern house with some beautiful details, and I wanted to show you during this time of construction how we achieve those details. Also watch my other video called Modern Trim so you can see what some of these details are going to look like when we're all finished. But this is a great stage to show off the house. The drywall is up and at least has been started, but we've stopped drywall. You can notice that we're not finished in here. We've just installed it. And that's because we're now at the stage where we need to install the doors and do some of the reglets. You know, a traditional house, we'd install the drywall, we'd totally finish it, and this transition between drywall and door would get finished with a piece of trim. Maybe a piece of colonial casing or a 1x4, something like that. But in this house, this is a very trim, very flush, modern design. There's not going to be any trim in this place, and here's how we're achieving that. We're using throughout the house this extruded aluminum reglet. This is called a FRA Regular. That's a brand name. And this is going to finish off that ragged edge between the trim and the frame of the door to give us this beautiful reveal. Now in this case, the architect has specified a 1/4 inch reveal, and you'll notice this FRA Regular looks like a bit of a corner bead. It's got holes so we can nail it in, and it's got a raised lip right here, so when we mud this edge right here is going to give us a nice crisp edge. Now what happened was we installed the door first, and then we installed the reglet. So this is a job that's all going to be installed by your finish carpenter. The drywall guy is simply hanging the drywall and leaving that edge ragged, and then the finish carpenter takes over. A couple details that I want you to notice right here. Because this is trimless, we really want these doors to be nice and crisp. These are actually going to be painted doors and not stained. We did use beech, so we had a nice high quality hardwood here that would take paint very nicely. And we also specified a little thicker of a jamb than is normal for a door, because again, most of the time these are going to get covered by trim. But in this case, we're expressing that jamb detail. So the finish carpenter installed these doors. You also notice these have ball bearing hinges, which I love. And then the finish carpenter installed this reglet. Now this reglet detail is going to go from the base up and over the door, and you'll notice the finish carpenter mitered those reglets. This is basically like installing trim, but it's going to get finished off with drywall later. Another detail I want to talk about on this house is how we transition from this trimless door down to the base. Now we do have base mold, but it's flush base, meaning we've got 5/8 drywall. We're going to be installing a 5/8 trim so everything's flush down there. We did a video on this in the past, but let me run you through the basics. The first thing we want to do is solid block in between our studs. That way we have something to nail to for that base. And then we're going to come into the finish carpenters, we're going to run a laser, and we're going to set blocks so the drywall guy can hang the drywall to the blocks. After that drywall has been hung, we're going to remove those blocks, and then we're going to come in with another reglet and finish off that edge at the bottom of the drywall with a reglet. I also like how the architect moved the outlets into that base mold for a really clean, crisp look. Very, very fun. Now these reglets are not inexpensive. You could do this in a plastic bead like Trimtex, but an extruded aluminum FRA reglet like this, boy, it's worth the money when you're really looking for that very crisp edge. It's going to be super tight around these doors. That 1/4 inch gap is going to be very consistent and very smooth. Hey guys, for more information on this topic, I'd love to have you visit my blog at mattracinier.com, where we talk about all different topics when it comes to finish carpentry and modern trim. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.